We are installing a pickup, multi-piezo pickup on an Mbira here. And so took a bunch of piezos and I glued them down. Used plyo bond, which is a flexible type of glue. Works really well for sound transmission. And then this is copper foil tape, and I'm going to measure out a piece. Cut it. And I am going to, the foil tape has one side as adhesive, and it works great when you have to solder multiple things together. And I'm going to run it across the bottom here and push it down to where it just barely touches each one of these on the brass. Then we're going to solder each one of these piezos to the foil tape. Then we're going to go through, we're going to use some liquid electrical tape. This is some brush on stuff. It can be kind of messy. And we're going to put some on the brass in between each piezo. And the reason we're doing this is we're on another piece of the copper foil tape across the center to solder the center positives, and you don't want it shorting out. Alright, so we're just going to let that sit for about an hour and dry, and we'll do the rest. Okay, next we're going to prep the 1/4 inch jack, which is going to mount into the side here. I made a small plate out of brass that the jack is going to be mounted into, and has 2 holes for screws and then 1 hole for this. I'm going to put the washer on here, and then also the nut goes on next. I'm going to loosen it up just a little bit. I'm going to put some thread lock on right here. Now we're just going to put the wire here onto the jack. I like to use shielded wire. I use the shield for the negative. Okay, so just got back out from the shop, drilled a hole here in the side that fits this, had to countersink it to make it big enough for the nut, and then you drill a hole from this side. So I'm going to get this right up in there. Alright, so jack is in place. Okay, so now we're going to lie the strip of foil tape for the positive. I'm going to measure that out. And we're going to make sure this goes across so it's not touching any of the these parts. Now we're going to make sure it's nice and tight there. So soldering to the ceramic of a piezo is a little bit tricky. You need to be fast. You want to make sure your soldering iron tip is clean. What you want to do is you want to start on the copper and then drag it onto the ceramic. Then you want to take this, you want to cut it to its correct length. You want to strip it. Okay, so at that point, this is good to go. I'm going to take the liquid electrical tape. I'm going to do a covering over the entire thing. And this is basically a protective covering. And I like to do multiple layers of this, that way it's nice and protected. But you can do as many as you want. I tend to start off doing it kind of thin, and then making it thicker. And I'll also put some around this wire just because I like to keep things as protected as possible. Make sure you get some around that hole. And we'll let that dry overnight. Put some more on it, and we're good to go.